Wherever you'd like, make sure you got a little bit of space. All right, I'll stand back here so you can see me a little bit. All right, so let's start by taking a big breath, reaching up, arms towards the ceiling, and then let the arms float right back down onto our sides, shoulders away from ears, like we're being pulled up by a string, nice and tall. And then we're gonna take our arms, reach them back behind us, stretch your chest out as far as you can, and then reach forward, spread the shoulder blades, tuck that chin and just feel that stretch in the back, and then come back the other way. Pull the shoulder blades back, shoulders back, reach back. I'm gonna show you from the side, reaching back, looking up, and then forward. Tucking the chin a little bit as we reach forward, and then looking up a little bit as we come back. One more here, forward and back. Let the arms fall to the sides again. And then we're gonna take some neck circles. Bring your right ear to your right shoulder. Roll it slowly across the chest. And then up on the other side. And then behind, back around. And let's keep going in this direction for a few. And then when you bring your right ear to your right shoulder next, go ahead and reverse directions, going the opposite way. One more big neck circle. All right, and then head comes to center, and we're going to take a few roll-ups. So we are gonna go down to the ground to a forward fold, one vertebrae at a time. So tuck your chin first, then shoulders come forward, and then we follow all the other vertebrae in the back, rolling down, seeing how far we want to go today. If you want to keep your knees soft for the beginning of class, that's totally fine. You don't have to straighten them yet. So when you reach the bottom, then go ahead and uncurl back, one vertebrae at a time, starting at the hips, rounding up through the upper back. And then when you get to the top, shoulders are going to come back, and then reach up with your arms and take a little tiny little standing back bend, reaching up and back again. So reverse, same thing. Tuck the chin, shoulders round forward and round down. Letting the chin fall to the chest. And then slowly roll up again, one vertebrae at a time. When you get to the top, again, take a shoulder roll back and then reach up with the arms. Squeeze the glutes just a little bit forward as you reach up. All right, let's take one more roll up, just like that. Shoulders back at the top. One more standing back bend. And just let the arms fall down again. All right, take the hands out in front of you, palms facing up, pull the fingertips towards you, and then tuck them the opposite way. Now down as far as you can, up again. And keep alternating there, arms straight. All right, so now we're gonna take another forward fold, but we're gonna do it differently. Instead of rolling with the spine, we wanna keep that spine entirely locked straight this time, no bending, so brace that core, and just go ahead and send the hips down as far as they can go. So we're bending at the hip, not through the back. And again, you can keep the knees a little bit soft if you'd like today. And we're just seeing how low we can go without really bending that back. It's staying straight. So really just sending the hips back far behind you, coming deep into those hamstrings. And then see where your hands go. So for me, I'm probably gonna keep them right on my shins so I can keep that nice flat back. You're more flexible today. You're a little looser and they come down to your ankles or even the floor. So really just think about flat back. Again, hips farther and farther back. All right, and when we stand up, we're gonna make sure we keep that flat back, so brace the core, shoulders back, and just drive the hips up forward, hands travel up the legs. Let's do that again. Send the hands right back down the legs, let them glide. Maybe your legs are a little straighter for this one. So all in the legs with this stretch. keeping the gaze right on the floor where your feet are. And let's come up again, flat back, let the hands travel up the legs, drive the hips forward. And let's take one last forward fold here. So one more, let the hands slide down, hips go back. All right, so now wherever you are, let's go ahead and bring your hands right on top of the knees here. We're gonna take a standing cat-cow. So from here, we're just gonna practice moving our spine in this position with a little kind of half forward fold, hands right above the knees. So we're gonna arch the tailbone and the head up, and then we round the back the opposite way as we're standing. And then again, pulling the shoulder blades back, tailbone up, and then spread the shoulder blades. And then one more here. All right, and then go ahead and stand back up again here. Shake it out a little bit if you need to. All right, we're gonna come a little bit into more hamstring stretches. So the first things first, we're gonna step one leg forward in front of us, keep the toe pointed up. The back leg can bend here, and we're just gonna scoop forward and then reach up. Now we're gonna switch legs, step back, other leg steps forward. Again, you can bend the back leg, but the front leg stays straight, scoop forward, hinging at the hips, reaching up. All right, let's do it again. Step back with that first leg, slowly scoop down. Now we're gonna add to this. When your hands touch the ground, you're gonna drop the toe down, shift the hands forward now, and we're just gonna take that back leg and kick it up a few times. So when you kick your leg up, you'll feel a deeper stretch in your front leg and the hamstring. So kick it up a few times, get comfortable there, hands on the ground. And then we're gonna walk the hands back. So we can point that toe up again and stand up. And then we're gonna switch legs. So let's do that again. It starts like a scoop, one leg forward, toe up, hands at the hips, scoop. And then walk the hands forward, point the toe, and kick the back leg up now. So the farther you kick that leg up, the deeper the stretch. You don't have to use too much momentum now. We're just getting started. And then drop the back leg. You can bend the front one, walk your hands back now outside the front foot and stand up. All right, let's do that again. Now that we know what to do, back to our first leg. Hinge at the hips, scoop forward, straight leg. Then it comes forward. Keep that front leg straight though. And then kick that back leg up a few times. All right, and let that back leg drop, shift the weight back, stand up, and switch legs again. Big scoop, hold, walk forward, let the toe drop, keep the leg straight, and keep the back leg up. All right, let that back leg drop again. Walk the hands back and stand up again. All right, we're gonna come down to the ground now into a combat stretch. So go ahead and crouch down. We're gonna have one knee down, one knee up, just like this. So I'm gonna stretch my left leg first. I'm gonna make sure my heel stays on the mat. That's the most important thing. And then we just gently drive that knee over the ankle. So I'm pushing my knee gently forward, but I want to make sure my heel stays on the ground. So I'm going to turn so you can see a little bit more, just like this. Drive it forward, but my heel never comes up. And this way you can get a nice stretch in the back of your ankle. And we're just going to hold this for a little bit. So get comfortable here, use your hands and your body, gently press that knee forward, heel and toe down. All right, let's hold it out 5 more seconds. All right, release, gently press up. Switch legs now. And we're gonna do a 30-second hold on the other side again. Make sure that foot stays down, and then when you're ready, push forward. Use your body to press down on that knee forward. So you should feel it right in the back of the ankle, where the heel meets the ankle right there. And it's gonna help with ankle mobility. 5 more seconds. Hold it out here. Make sure that heel stays glued down. And go ahead and release. All right, so from here, now we are nice and prepped to do our first deep squat stretch of the day. So if you struggle with this one, remember you can grab a chair or a wall and hold on to it as we come into our deep stretch, or you don't have to use that at all. So if you were using something, I'm gonna show you, just kind of grab it and use it to pull yourself forward so you don't fall back. But if you're okay just sitting back in that deep stretch, then go ahead and sit back from there. We're just gonna hold this for a while, get comfortable here. So if you need a moment to go grab a chair or whatever, go grab one. If not, go ahead and sink down. Remember, knees wide. We're trying to get the heels and toes down. And then the goal over time is to reduce this kind of like rounding we want to do in this position. We want to let the hips drive back, wedging between the feet, and kind of pick up the chest, shoulders back. So if you feel your shoulders rounded forward, see if you can pull them back a little bit. Maybe bring the arms wider. Try and get a nice straight angle here. I know it's a lot to focus on. This is a difficult stretch for the hips. Just do your best and get comfortable over time. If it gets too much, feel free to step out of it, shake it out, and come back in when you're ready. All right, hold that out. All right, hopefully everybody's still in their deep squat. So we're gonna take one hand down on the ground, so my left hand's down, and then my right hand is gonna reach up. And as I do this, my left hand's driving my left knee out. Follow the hand with your gaze, back down, and now switch. Right hand on top of right foot, right knee, and take the thoracic twist, reaching up. All right, one more each side. Opposite hand now, reach up. And switch again, last one. All right, let's release the stretch for a moment. So we are just gonna straighten our legs and come right into a forward fold here. And you can bend one leg at a time if that feels good. Again, it helps to have your hands supported either on your shins or on the floor. So we're just taking a moment to release this, shake our legs out, and we're gonna go right back into that stretch again. All right, coming down low, sinking in. Now we're gonna add on to this one. This one is a little bit harder than just holding the squat, so it can be really helpful to find something to hold if you need that for this one, if this is difficult. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take one knee and we're just gonna twist it and let that knee tap the ground and then come back up. A little bit of internal rotation here. So we're gonna switch sides. Go to the other side, tap that knee, and then pull it back up. Now the heel can come up when you tap the knee, obviously. So my heel comes up, but my toe stays down. Other foot is still right in that squat position, and then it pulls back up. If this doesn't feel good, don't do it. You can just hold your squat. But if you're okay with this, then go ahead and practice that. And if you're having trouble balancing, again, try and find an object to hold in front of you. So let's do 2 more each side. All right, when you finish your second one, go ahead and straighten those legs. Take another forward fold to shake it out. So a little rest here before we go back into that squat. If you need to stand up entirely, go ahead and do that. Just take a moment to reset. We've got one more squat variation coming up. All right, if you are ready, let's do it. Last one. Come down to your squat. And then from here, we're gonna do these little diagonal forward fold things. So hands up, hands are gonna reach out to the side, reach for the ground, and then straighten the legs. They don't have to straighten all the way, but straighten as much as you can while keeping the hands down off of that diagonal. And then you bring the hips back down, hands come back up, and now they come out to the other side and straighten those legs. That's it, pop them back up, chest comes up. Back to the first side. Reach out into the side, straighten the legs, sit back down, and switch. All right, let's do one more each side. So back to that first side. And squat, and last one. All right, go ahead and stand up. Again, shake it out. If something feels like it needs to be stretched, go ahead and move. Take a moment to reset. So we just did a lot of hip and leg mobility work. So let's move into a little bit upper body and shoulders. So for this one, we're gonna have to come down into a plank position. So make sure you're standing lengthwise on your mat if you're using a mat. Hinge at the hips, let the hands reach long. And we're gonna step back into our plank. You can always drop those knees here into your plank as well to do a modified plank. I don't want you guys to be dying to hold the plank because we're just focusing on mobility here. So drop the knees. You need to, totally fine. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna switch from plank to downward dog by walking our hands. So I'm gonna pick up the toes, send the hips up, and I'm gonna walk my hands up as far as they wanna go into downward dog. And then once I have that, I'm gonna shift my shoulders back over my hands and just take a few steps out to plank. All right, so let's try that again. First, shift up to downward dog, hips come up, and then just walk the hands back just to deepen that stretch a little bit right into downward dog so we're really fully into it. And in downward dog, you're sinking into those shoulders, pulling the chest towards the knees, and then back to plank, walk it out again. And of course, you can always take a moment to drop the knees and plank. And then back up. A few baby steps with the hands. Back to plank, we're gonna do one more. So walk your way into downward dog. And back down to plank. And when you get to plank, go ahead and drop all the way down to the ground. Just drop the chest down. So we're just laying on the ground, face down, and we're gonna do these around the world shoulder rotations. So we're laying down completely, arms are straight, long overhead, and then we're gonna lift up the hands and pull them both around, coming back down as far as we can. Arms are straight until we have to bend them at the very end to tap the base of the spine. And then we come back the way we came, so straightening the arms and then rotating them forward and overhead. All right, make sure that your gaze stays down on looking towards the floor. We don't want to strain our necks to have to look up. So we're really keeping that chin tucked, squeezing the glutes for the support. The feet can stay down because we're focusing on the shoulders, but try and keep those hands elevated because we're really fighting for that range of motion here and we have to fight against gravity. So go ahead and try that out. If you haven't already, arms are long, reach them up, and then nice and slow, pushing the range of motion. How high can you go? And then down, bend the arms slightly to tap the base of the spine to get that full range of motion, rotation in your shoulders, and then straighten them up again. All the while pushing the shoulders out, hands up high. Back overhead and repeat. Slowly through that rotation, moving with intention. Good job, guys. We're gonna do a few of these. So try and move slow, but you don't have to move exactly with me. So just focus on doing this. All right, let's do two more wherever you are. Finish the one you're on and add one more. Really get those arms up as high as you can. All the way around, move with intention for the last one. When you finish, let the arms drop and we're gonna press back into a child's pose. So take a moment to send the hips back over the feet, chest over the knees, and reach out long with those hands. Forehead can rest on the floor and really reach as far as you can. Hips down, arms down. All right, let's come and shift forward again back into that. So we're gonna do something similar now, but slight different variation. ITY, I will walk you through this. There are 3 moves and they're named after letters. So I is gonna be arms long, and we're just gonna take a moment to reach up with those arms, lift them up, and then let them float right back down to the ground. That was I, because we look like a letter I. Now move your hands out to the side, so you're making a T, and then we're just gonna raise those arms into T, squeezing the shoulder blades back, arms back, pulling back with the back of the shoulders as high as you can. That's T. Let's drop the arms back down. And Y, I'm sure you can guess, right in the middle, like you do in the YMCA, diagonal out, point the toes, squeeze the glutes, and lift those hands. Look right at the floor, lift it up, and drop it back down. All right, let's move through that again, nice and slow and nice and intentional, focusing on range of motion. So back to I here, forward and lift. And then go ahead and drop, nice and slow and controlled. Move hands out to T, lift them up. And drop the hands back into Y and lift. All right, back to I again. We're gonna move through this 2 more times. Ready? Up and down into I, out into T, and now into Y. Lifting and holding, hands up as high as you can. Keep pushing, working on that shoulder mobility. And next up, back to I. One more round through. Ready? Up for I, hold, and down, lower, out into T. Squeeze those glutes, keep tucking the chin up. All right, and then into Y, last one. Up and down, lower. All right, go ahead and press back into a child's pose again so we can stretch our back out the opposite way after doing that. Send the hips back and take a moment to sink into that. We're gonna take a few breaths here, so if you need to stop and take a sip of water or anything as well, go ahead. All right, go ahead and shift forward now, and we are actually going to come into a seated position. So spin over, sit down, and then lower yourself down to the ground here. Back is flat, and then go ahead and bring the feet in. So feet are flat. And as we're sitting here, you have that arch in your spine right here against the ground. So practice pushing, tucking the tailbone, and getting that back flat against the ground so there's no arch. So you kind of have to brace your abs in order to do that. So that's an important part of bracing. Really make sure you can't slide your hand underneath your back. And this is gonna set us up. That tilt in your pelvis is what we wanna do when we do a bridge. So we're gonna lift our hips towards the ceiling, all the way up, squeeze the glutes towards the ceiling. So pressing those hips up so we can get our hips as extended as possible. And we're just holding it here. Arms can be up or they can be down by your sides, whichever you prefer. And then go ahead and come out of it by rolling down 1 vertebrae at a time. So when you finish, you should have your back flat again, that tuck position with the pelvis. So we aren't tilting our pelvis back, so we have an arch, we're tilting it down so it's nice and flat. All right, so that was our bridge. We're gonna try a different variation that's gonna challenge our mobility and strength a little bit more. It's gonna be a single leg glute bridge. So if you are ready to try it, then you're gonna bring one leg down on the ground, and then the other leg is gonna be right pointed up in the air. If you do not wanna try this one, you can just go right back into the double leg bridge for both of these variations. But if you wanna try it, bring one leg in nice and close, tuck the pelvis, press that foot into the ground, and lift up the hips. Again, trying to get a full range of motion, so as high as you can, digging that one heel into the ground and squeezing the glutes up towards the ceiling. This is our single leg glute bridge. If at any point it gets too much, you can hold it out for as long as you can, and then just drop the other leg when you need some help. But try and hold it here by really making that tension in your glute to push your hips out. All right, and go ahead and lower down again, one vertebrae at a time. Try not to flop down, lowering down. And let's switch. So we are gonna do the other side to even things out, of course, but feel free to go back into double leg glute bridge whenever you need to. All right, so one leg up. And then when you're ready, generate that tension in the heel, press the hips up, squeeze the glutes towards the ceiling. You know the drill. Think hip bone up. Squeeze the glute, nice. Hold it out here. Three, two, one, and lower down one vertebrae at a time again. All right, so we can stretch those legs out now after that. So we're gonna take one knee, hug it up towards the shoulder, and then bring it over to the other side. So trying to get that little twist, bringing the knee across the body now to try and stretch out the glute that we just worked. All right, knee comes back to center, and then long, and then switch. One leg long, the other knee, hug it in towards the closed shoulder first. And then bring it over across the body, bringing it towards the opposite shoulder. And again, pushing those hips out, getting that little twist to stretch out the glutes. All right, so next up, bring the feet back in like we're gonna do a glute bridge, but we're just gonna send our knees over to one side here. And then go ahead and take the hand and bring it over nice and long, reach towards the opposite side. See if you can get that hand to rest on the ground. And follow the hand with your gaze, so look at it while the knees are being sent to one direction, and go ahead and take a moment to enjoy the stretch for the upper back here. All right, knees pulling back to center. Let's go over to the other side. Knees to one side. And then reach over with the other arm. All right, pull the knees back to center. And then roll up, back to a seated position. Cross the legs now. We're gonna take one moment to be pulled up by a string again. Nice and tall, nice and straight with the back. Reach up with the hands. And let them drop right by the sides here. All right, that was it. Hope you guys enjoyed. And we are done. So if you have any questions or requests, of course, let me know. Have a great day.